and originally 104% in all. Perspective now from Scott Galloway, NYU professor, host of the Prof G podcast, and co-host with Kara Swisher of the Pivot podcast. So, Scott, do the president's tariffs make any sense to you, or any more sense to you now than they did before? I mean, and what is the end game here? Do you see this as a route to some negotiation country by country?
It would be difficult to think of a more elegant way to reduce prosperity globally than these levels of tariffs. These are more than 10x the levels of tariffs in the first administration. On a gross level, they're actually greater than the tariffs levied in Smoot-Hawley that led us into depression, where we lost a third of our GDP and unemployment was at 25%. If we're looking to alienate the largest trading partners in the world and shove them into the hands or the arms of China, Japan, South Korea, and China are having talks for the first time in a while. If we're looking to reduce our purchasing power, our prosperity, take our markets down, this is literally the most elegant way I could think of doing this. I used to, Anderson in graduate school, I was a graduate student instructor in macro and microeconomics. And we used to talk about tariffs the way I imagine they talk about leeches in medical school, saying, can you believe they ever did this? So I don't know what the end game is here, other than somebody who believes he's a great deal maker and can go country by country and figure out a better deal. But we've lost so much credibility that I think the structural long-term damage here is really significant.
Beyond tariffs, the structural long-term damage, what, to America's reputation, to faith in our economic system?
The reputation of America means risk, innovation, IP, great universities. It also means consistency and rule of law. And in literally the last 10 weeks, rule of law has been thrown out the window, whether it's defying court orders or having essentially a used car sale on the White House lawn. It appears we're no longer engaging or holding up rule of law, and we seem totally inconsistent. The tariffs are on, they're off, they're on, they're off. Global trade has been this enormous unlock for the US economy and our prosperity. And anytime we take it down, we get especially hurt. This is the definition of stupid, is doing something that hurts yourself while hurting others. This could not be more stupid.
And so to the argument that the administration makes, which is this is to bring American manufacturing back, to have iPhones manufactured here in this country, to have great jobs for people here.
The notion that somehow we're just dying for more, first off, we're the second largest manufacturer in the world behind China. We have a lot of manufacturing already. The Cato Institute did a survey about manufacturing. Well, 80% of Americans think we should have more manufacturing. About 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 have any interest in going to work in manufacturing. There isn't a line of people looking to go work at a plant in Lansing, Michigan. Dave Chappelle summarized it perfectly. We want to wear Nikes, not make them. We have outsourced the most underpaid jobs. Now, some people we've left behind, but this notion, Secretary Lutnick said that there are millions of people looking to drill in these screws in iPhones. If these tariffs go through, your iPhone's about to go from $1,300 to $2,100. To produce it in the US would cost $3,500. So we're not going to bring back iPhone manufacturing. These companies produce products on average 50 to 80% less expensively than we do, and we reinvest that prosperity in higher value add products. We import energy from Canada, we refine it, we add value to it, and we sell it at 3 times the price. So the notion that all these great jobs are going to come flowing back to the US is nonsense. America doesn't want these low-paying manufacturing jobs. The basis of trade is that you do a great job of producing something for a lot less money than we do. We do another great job of producing things at a lower cost than you can. It tends to be our products are high value add, very high margin. NVIDIA chips have 50, 60 points of profit margin. Mercedes operates at 8% profit margin. So for every dollar we make, we effectively get a maximum exponential shampoo effect or echo effect of much greater value. Global trade has been the unbelievable unlock for global prosperity and massive prosperity in the United States.
What do you make of Elon Musk's criticism of the administration, in particular, some of the folks around the president, Peter Navarro in particular? I called him a dumber than a sack of bricks and a moron.
It makes for good theater. I think Elon Musk is going to fade to black. I predicted 3 weeks ago that within 30 days he would be out of government and Doge, because the bottom line is he could not have anticipated this type of blowback. And I think what really sent chills down his spine was when the province of Alberta and Poland, the nation of Poland, said that they were reconsidering their Starlink contracts. His brand has been so damaged by this, sales plummeting in Europe, and Starlink, which is his growth vehicle and now constitutes more of his wealth than Tesla. He's gonna leave the administration because this has not gone well for him. He is seen as someone who is non-empathetic, someone who has usurped constitutional power illegally, and it is really damaging his brand. So, the fight between him and Peter Navarro, that's good theater. He's going to be gone. He's out.
You've been very transparent in your podcast about the millions of dollars you've lost in the market in a 48-hour period last week. Obviously, you're able to take a hit, luckily. There's a lot of people who are depending on their retirement savings to make ends meet right now, thinking about retiring, who are now thinking, well, I can't retire. What are they supposed to do right now?
Yeah, look, I want to be clear. This really hurts people. In terms of financial advice, and I've got a lot of emails saying, what should I do? My advice for anybody right now is to do the following: nothing. You don't make decisions when you lose someone you love, when you have a financial catastrophe or something really bad happens to you. I don't think you make decisions in the moment because you're not thinking straight. And also, this guy's so unpredictable. He could announce tomorrow that the tariffs are off and stocks could go up. The Dow could go up 2,000 points tomorrow. And then you really hate yourself. What I would consider doing is the following, Anderson, and that is, if you think you're just diversified because you're in an S&P index fund, you're not. You need to be geographically diversified. And that is that re-rating we're talking about, where the U.S. may not be able to outrun the multiple contraction in stocks, in my opinion, are due for 5 years of decline in the U.S. You may want to think about taking some tax losses and then diversifying into other geographies, Asian, Latin American, and European stocks. But you never want to act out of emotion, because usually the same emotion you're feeling is what other people are feeling. And if you had followed some advice from famous CNBC people in 2008 and said, if you can't stand the volatility, get out, and then the markets ripped back and recovered all of their losses within 14 months, think about the hit to your mental health. So